This right here makes $2 million a year. And this guy was forced to bet everything on it after one accident.
I spun off the road and flew through that fence, and it was about at that point that I knew that it was over. I ended up quitting my job the same month that I got married, so yeah, you could say the stakes couldn't have been higher.
So how much can you make selling turf? Why is this gold mine of a business still sitting here untapped? You're doing $2 million a year in revenue and only spending $5,000 a month on ads. Where are all the customers coming from? And how can you borrow Lance's strategy to get more customers than you know what to do with?
It's old school, it costs $3, and it's powerful. Everyone's obsessed with getting clicks. I just found a better and easier way.
Lance, talk to us about the different types of turfs that you guys have here and what exactly you guys do.
Yeah, so this is one of the distributors that we work with pretty frequently. In this showroom and in this warehouse specifically, pet turf, kid play turf, putting green turf, all the kinds of residential turf that you could look for. So really anything turf-wise that you need, this place has got it.
Can you give us numbers on number of employees, location, square footage you guys have done?
Yeah, so internally here in Austin, San Antonio, we have 2 turf pros, a fresh and clean maintenance guy, and then all of our crews are subcontracted. Franchisor-wise, we have, in addition to myself, 6 other franchisees covering 24 territories.
So why turf for you?
Because why not? It's awesome. Turf's great. I had an opportunity to come up with a friend to help co-start a turf company right upon graduating college. Helped run that for about 3 years, and then I kind of just got lured into the corporate world. I saw all my friends going to these corporate events, traveling, all the things that I thought were cool. So I actually sold off my ownership, went to the medical device space, only to eventually come back to turf.
So we have the showroom here, but you guys actually cut your turf here?
Turf, the distributor cuts it. So if we want to go check that out and kind of get a feel for the warehouse, we can go on back there.
Let's go on back there.
Let's get it.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship and leaving for the corporate life and then coming back. Yeah. What happened?
During the time that I was in corporate world, I just kind of looked around and saw the guys that were making it and the sacrifices that they had to make in order to get to where they wanted to go. So lots of time on the road, away from family, not seeing their kids. Me and my wife were planning on having a kid soon. And I just realized this isn't the lifestyle I wanted to live. So I'd already kind of been thinking about it. And there was one trip in particular, I was driving to Abilene, Texas, about 3.5 hours outside of Austin. Freak snowstorm came through. I'm coming down 4 lanes of traffic. I skid out, go across 4 lanes, through a fence into a field. It's about 6:30 a.m., surgery's at 7. I get a call from the doctor asking, "Where are you?" I explained the story and there was no, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Don't worry about it, take your time." It was just, "How quick can you get here?" And so I'm sitting on the side of the road, snowstorm, car wreck, just thinking, I can't do this, man. This is not the life that I want to live. So on that drive back from Abilene that day is when the gears started turning that if I could get back into entrepreneurial space, start my own turf company again and do the numbers I was doing previously, things can be all right. And so now we're here about 4.5 years later or so, things are all right.
What were your startup costs? Where did you spend it?
Man, when I started Waterloo, I had maybe $10,000 to my name. So with that $10,000, again, I was trying to run this lean machine. I was really trying to build this thing off referrals and word of mouth. So maybe $500 a month on advertising, $1,500 here and there on swag, hats, all that stuff, and then back end things like accounting. But again, I was trying to save as much as I could and really just work the system on word of mouth and referrals.
What was going through your mind when you finally quit your job?
Kind of a funny story. So I actually quit my job and started Waterloo the same month that me and my wife got married. So not recommended, it's the way it worked out, but really what was going through my mind was it's just time to grind. It's time to jump in the car, go build relationships, go sling some turf, try to win jobs. Again, not really focused on the money at this point. It was about building a foundation that we could run off of for years to come.
We have the turf all cut here. Where does it go next?
So from here goes to the job site.
Can we go check it out?
Let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
Come on.
Was the business a success right away? How much did you guys make that first year?
So in Austin, this first year, we did a little over $400,000. It just continued to go up. So in this last year, launching San Antonio within its first year compared to Austin's first year, we did about $800,000. Between Austin and San Antonio together, in 2024, we did a little over $2 million in revenue.
And you said, so Austin did $400,000 in about year 1. San Antonio did $800,000. That's obviously a huge growth. What do you attribute it to?
I think just dialing in the operations. So making sure everything's working systematically, making sure everything we do on a daily basis, again, is like Groundhog's Day. So the leads that we go to, the follow-up time on them, and then the way that we send them out, on top of actually installing turf. All those kinks were worked out really well within those first couple years, which allowed us to validate our system in San Antonio and do pretty well in that first year.
That's obviously a great start. I mean, what advice do you have for people that are listening to get their first few customers?
Yeah, so what we tell everybody that we're bringing onto the Waterloo Turf team is that the first 90 days of your business is the most important days of your business. And the reason for that is, one, you have the time to go out and build relationships. So what we ask everyone to do in that first 90 days is to 7 to 10 commercial relationships a day, which involve dropping off donuts, dropping off coffee, building relationships so you can land jobs like this through relationships. So that's how this one came about, and that's how many of our other jobs have come about. And so the dividends of that first 90 days continues to pay off 5 years down the road.
Talk to us about that specific workflow. You walk in with donuts saying, here you go, can I talk to you? What does that workflow look like?
Yeah, so it's always, I mean, it's introducing yourself, but just have fun with it. So you're going in to establish yourself within that office, build relationships, and hopefully become their turf guy. That's the ultimate goal of these relationships. So bring them coffee, bring them donuts, get to know their names, know what trips they're going on, and occasionally talk about turf a little bit.
This is a beautiful house. Can you tell us more about the job today? How long will it take?
Yeah, so this job was brought to us through a landscape designer. So they sent us the plans, we quoted it out. They won the job, they fed it to us. It should be about a 2-day install. So in and out, turnkey, 2 days, on to the next one.
What are they doing in the background here?
So what we're doing right now is we are installing our aggregate base. So spreading it, and then we're about to move towards compacting it.
Well, can we go check it out more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. How much material do we have here like right now?
So right now we've got a little over 20 yards of crushed limestone.
Why limestone?
So we like to use limestone because it drains really, really well. It also doesn't settle like some of the other aggregates that are used. So it is a little bit more expensive than some of the other options that we can get here in Austin. But again, we're about high quality installs. And in order to be high quality, we have to use the best material. So that's why we opt for choosing limestone.
So we have about 20 yards of limestone here. How much does it cost to fill all this in?
Yeah, so for 20 yards of limestone, that would be roughly, give or take, about $1,000.
What's the secret to finding and maintaining relationships with suppliers?
So suppliers, obviously, we're their clients. So we try to flip the script on them, and same with our commercial relationships. We want to bring them goods every now and then. So they do a lot for us. They help us out. They get deliveries scheduled on time. And so we want to be able to, bring them donuts, bring them coffee, and hopefully down the road it pays off for us a little bit. Maybe we get to jump the line here and there. But again, it all comes back to the culture we're trying to build at Waterloo Turf, which is quality people, quality relationships, getting your Saturdays back.
If you're enjoying this behind the scenes look with Lance, make sure to do us a quick favor and like and subscribe. You can do that at the bottom. We're working hard to get amazing entrepreneurs, and that really helps. Switching to turf to me seems like a no-brainer. I mean, what are some common objections people give you that say, I don't want this?
Yes, for us, I think it's more of just educating the client. So some of the typical things we get hit with are, is it pet friendly? It is pet friendly. Is it kid friendly? It is kid friendly.
How do you overcome those objections?
Yeah, so when it comes to pet friendliness or kid friendliness, we can give them the breakdown and the specs of the turf product. And on top of that, I think a big educational piece that people don't know of and we get asked about a lot is the black crumb rubber. And so we don't use the black crumb rubber. We use a silica sand infill, or a lot of times with kids and pets, we actually use an antimicrobial infill. So it helps with bacteria, it helps with smell, and again, it helps emphasize that kid friendliness and pet friendliness.
How has your approach to sales changed over the years? And for someone viewing at home right now, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, for me, I've never been a pushy salesman. I think people come first, just always keeping in mind the client's vision, what they want out of the project. Because again, we are in the turf business, but we're really in the business of what your life is going to be like after you have Waterloo Turf installed. So we want to focus on what the client's vision and dream is, and then be able to perform and execute that vision and dream for them.
When like these sales conversations start like working together, I mean, is it a lot of times people are just coming to you and you need to educate them on, or are they coming to you and be like, we want turf, like you just need to tell us what to do? Like talk to us how that actually works.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. So we'll go into some backyards and they know exactly what they want. And we'll go into some backyards and they're like, hey, I don't know what I want. I just know I've resodded this yard 3 times and I can't do it again. So we get a mix of all different types of clients. Every project's a little bit different, but again, the way we treat people is the same across the board, whether they're working with Waterloo Turf, for Waterloo Turf, or we're working for them as the client.
We'll let you guys finish up here and we'll come back and roll the turf when it's done.
All right, sounds great.
At just 27 years old, Lance realized that working for someone else was kind of like watering artificial grass and hoping for it to grow. It just ain't happening. That's because real growth takes doing things differently and doing them right from the start. Which is why if you're ready to launch a business of your own, you don't need expensive subscriptions, legal fees, and mountains of paperwork. You need Busy. Busy has helped over 1 million entrepreneurs set up their businesses the right way, with clear upfront pricing, no surprise charges, or hidden subscriptions. Just a one-time fee for everything from LLC formation to compliance tracking. Most business tools like this are set up for their bottom line, not yours. But Busy is privately owned and 100% bootstrapped, so they answer to you. They're built by entrepreneurs who know what it takes to grow, which is why they include benefits like a free registered agent with every business formation, plus state fees for your first year and ongoing support through Busy Tax. So stop watering fake grass and start growing a business of your own with Busy. Just click the link in the description to get started today.
Awesome. This is Fan Blitz. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
How many times have you heard, I wish I did this years ago after completing an installation?
Thousands.
What's the biggest misconception people have about artificial turf?
That it's not pet friendly. All of our products are pet friendly, kin friendly as well.
Leading to our next Fan Blitz. If my dog goes potty on turf, where does it all go?
Yeah, so turf drains, a lot of it drains at 30+ inches an hour. Hose it off, you can run your sprinklers, and then there's also pet deodorizers that can be mixed in with the turf product as well, so it keeps it clean.
What's the best part about being an entrepreneur?
I think the freedom of time. So not having a boss, obviously, being able to spend more time with family as needed, and then just having the ability to control what you're doing.
What's the worst part about being an entrepreneur?
Everything falls on you. Yeah, it all comes back to you. So you got to be able to be accountable for all the mistakes within the business.
Biggest purchase you've ever made for yourself or your business?
I'm pretty frugal with the business. So I mean, besides hats and shirts, we obviously have our Waterloo wrapped trucks and vans. So I'd say that would probably be it.
If you could have dinner with any entrepreneur, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Any entrepreneur, dead or alive? The first one that comes to mind is Rob Dyrdek, just because I love robbing big back in the day. Yeah.
That's great. If you weren't in the turf business, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't in the turf business, I would probably be working medical device still and not really enjoying my life.
That's a wrap on Fan Blitz. What prompted you to start franchising? How did you do it? Was this something you wanted to do from day one?
It wasn't something I wanted to do from day one. To be honest, from day one, it was just, let's just start a turf company. As the years went by, in 2024, opened up San Antonio. It validated everything we were doing in Austin. And a few short months after starting San Antonio at the beginning of 2024, it was up and running. It was in a healthy place. I really wasn't too involved with it. And I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do with Waterloo Turf? I wanted to continue to expand it, but in what shape did I want to do it? So I was trying to think, do I want to do this corporately, like we did with San Antonio and move to other cities, or do I want to do this through the franchising system? It was about at that time that Timmy and I, who's our CEO, we actually met and we became friends at first. And about 3 or 4 months after that, we started talking about business. And so he was in the franchising realm looking for a turf company. I was in the turf world looking into franchising. And so after we met, we became friends. We started talking more about business, and it obviously just ended up becoming Waterloo Turf franchising. So the reason I wanted to go the franchising route rather than the corporate route is that I wanted to get this out there to more people at a quicker pace, and to be able to do that while obviously focusing on franchisee profitability.
Why start a Waterloo Turf franchise instead of starting from scratch? I mean, what makes you guys so unique?
I think for all these franchisees that come on board, they hopefully don't have to go through all the failure that I went through in year 1 and year 2 in order to launch and become successful to get to where we are here in Austin and then grow beyond that. In addition, on the franchising side, we have a built-in marketing team that's going to promote their location. And then on top of that, even more, we have national pricing with distributors across the country. So I would say those are like 3 very solid reasons why someone would Waterloo franchise.
If someone's like, oh my gosh, I need to start a Waterloo Turf franchise, I mean, what can they expect from initial investment, and how much can they realistically expect to make the first year?
Yeah, so initial investment, $106,000 for one territory. We recommend looking to the San Antonio P&L for its first year of existence. San Antonio P&L for first year in 2024, showing about $800,000 in revenue, 15% net with a full-time employee.
And talk to us what comes in that $106,000 investment.
$106,000 investment obviously gets you your Waterloo Turf franchise, a full-time support team on the franchising side, a Waterloo Turf coach that has turf experience and knowledge, in addition to a full-time marketing team that's going to support your territory, in addition to the green jacket that you got yourself.
The green jacket is probably the most important.
That's what we think.
What's the ongoing royalties look like for this franchise?
Yeah, so you start at 6%, and then as you grow your business and continue to do more revenue, it actually tiers down to 4%.
If you're interested in starting your own Waterloo Turf, Lance is giving viewers like you a special link in the description below. Click down below to get started with your Waterloo Turf. Click. Also believe you guys clean turf as well. Yeah. Can we go check some out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Where are we at right now?
So we're at a old client's house. So we did this not too long ago, about 90 days ago, which is what we actually recommend to our clients is post-install 90 days. We like to come back for your first fresh and clean, and that's what we call it. So a lot of people do call turf no maintenance. For us, we say it's low maintenance. So your turf is gonna perform better, last longer, be aesthetically pleasing throughout its lifetime if you do give a little TLC throughout its span.
How much does the maintenance cost the consumer exactly?
So it varies. So it's a tiered pricing system. So your initial clean, if it hasn't been touched in a while, will be about $450. And the reason for that is because it does take a little bit of extra time. We also will add infill on that clean. Every clean after that, no infill will be added. The price goes down, and it also goes down based off frequency. So it could range from about $300 per clean or $175 per clean, depending on the frequency of it.
Can you tell us more about your subscription plan? How many turfs you guys currently have under management?
We're capable of cleaning 3 to 4 yards per day. And so ever since we've been starting up this fresh and clean program, it's really taken on. Clients are loving it. We've got several clients that are signed up for monthly recurring, a lot of quarterly plans as well, and then just a lot of happy customers in general, because obviously our slogan is get your Saturdays back. Turf is low maintenance, so we want to be able to offer that service to clients as well, where they continue to get their Saturdays back.
And what's some of your guys' biggest overhead expenses running this business? Break those down for us.
So here in Austin this last year, we obviously took on a truck and van for both our installation and our fresh and clean, which varies between $650 to $1,200 a month. Our tech fees are about $600 a month. And then on top of that, we were spending about $5,000 on ads last year for both Austin and San Antonio.
You have a perfect 5 stars on Google, which is incredible. How? What systems do you have in place to get that 5-star rating?
The way we go about it is upon finishing installation or cleaning service, we'll meet with the client, we'll walk the job site with them, and then we'll pass them a hat. So we gift them one. They don't cost us much, but if you get a client to wear it, and they're gonna wear it all over the place, it's just walking advertisement. So the way we go about it is we finish the job, pull out a hat, gift it to them. Hopefully they're stoked about it. At the same time, you ask them to pull out their phone, tap the card up against it, get that 5-star review, get payment finished up as well before you leave the job site, and then just go on to the next one.
What's the next step after this then?
So after we get the debris cleared off the top of the turf, we'll drop our infill in it and then hit it again with this, and then move on to the Dillo deodorizing spray at the end.
Let's go do it.
Let's get it. So right now we're about to infill this turf with a little bit of silica sand. So this is our primary infill. There were no pets involved in this project space, so we're good to use this. So we'll actually bring in our chief of clean, our turf talker within Waterloo Turf, Gage right here. He's gonna cut into this bag, we're gonna dump it into here, and then we'll spread it throughout this project space.
Nice. And as you guys heard, this is the secrets of 5-star reviews for Waterloo Turf.
This is the secret right here. This is it. This is how the sausage gets made.
The smile.
What's your marketing budget today? Where are you spending the money at?
So in 2024, we spent $5,000 a month between both Austin and San Antonio, mainly on Google Ads, leads of that nature, but truly this business is about word of mouth. So it really is about going out, doing great jobs with clients, gaining that word of mouth so they tell their friends. You know, we've had stories of doing one backyard, doing the next backyard, doing the next backyard. So the ultimate goal is to turf an entire neighborhood. That's the dream right there, and create quality installs.
What's your top advice for entrepreneurs watching when it comes to word of mouth?
Word of mouth is gonna carry your business. So especially in the turf space, it is different than a lot of other home service goods. So if you have gutters put in and you have friends come over that Friday evening, they're not gonna say, dude, your gutters look amazing. Who did that for you? But if you have turf put in, it's gonna be noticed, and that's for good or for bad. So obviously our goal is to install high quality installations. We treat every client like their family because we want that referral from them. We want them to become our biggest salesperson. So yeah, for me, I would say put your client above the money that you hope to make, and things should work out pretty well for you.
Do you think anyone could become a successful entrepreneur?
I do think anybody could be a successful entrepreneur. The thing is that I don't think everybody wants to do what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur. You know, what it takes is being gritty, doing the things that other people don't want to do, taking risk, the future being unknown. It's a lot of what could be stress. So I don't think a lot of people want to take that on, but I do think everybody has the capacity to become a successful entrepreneur.
Did you always think you were going to become an entrepreneur, like a successful one at that as well?
No, I definitely wouldn't say that. And I still wouldn't really consider successful.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, honestly, I do still feel the day-to-day of like, we got to continue to grow. We got to continue to become bigger and better and more dialed in with what we do. So I wouldn't consider it, but it's been cool to see what's happened with Waterloo. I never knew if I was going to be, entrepreneurial. I thought I always had an itch for it. And it just kind of fell in my lap in the way that it all came about. And then the way that it came about again with a little hiatus in between of the corporate life. So it's funny the way that things work out. I didn't think I'd be back in the turf space when I left it, but here we are, and it's been a lot of fun.
Have you noticed this from the online education industry? Most gurus make their income from selling courses, not actual businesses. At UpFlip, we decided to flip that whole model and bring you active business owners who teach what they are actively doing, not what they did a decade ago. It wasn't easy, but we convinced some amazing entrepreneurs to share their exact playbooks. People like Adam Hill, who makes $58,000 a month working just 2 days a week, or Brandon Vaughn, who's grown 12 multi-million-dollar businesses. If you want to kickstart your entrepreneurial journey and learn from real business owners, I'll leave the link down in the description for you to click on. So we've got the sand in the bucket now. Where are we going next?
So we're going to spread this throughout the yard. We're going to hit the yard with our green sweep, and then we're going to spray everything down with our Dillo deodorizer. So this is the final thing we use at the end of our cleans. Smells great. It's really fun to spray. It actually makes the turf look better at the same time. So you can see it's actually making the turf look greener. So any like dirt, debris, anything like that on top of it, it's actually going to do away with it. It's going to clean the turf as well. And then, like I said, obviously the biggest thing, it's going to smell great. There you go.
Woo, Gage, I'm coming for your job.
Natural, baby.
Yeah, back and forth. Cool, let's help me take this bad boy off. This thing is actually kind of heavy here, but I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, you're gonna overcome a lot. But for you, what's been the biggest stress running this company? How did you overcome it?
I think it goes back to my operator days. So the biggest thing for us is keeping our crews busy 5 days a week. That's the best way to retain a crew and keep them loyal to your company. So it would be the days where maybe it was a slow time of year, business was slow for whatever reason, and we were only booked out for Monday through Thursday, and we had that Friday opening. Oftentimes it was about honestly just praying it in and just praying for another job to show up. And a lot of times that job did show up in the last minute on a Thursday. Client wants to pull trigger, go for that Friday. Crew stays busy. So
if you go back in time and change one thing, what would it be?
I think the easy answers are, say don't stress so much in those startup days. Truly trust that everything's going to work out. I think the honest answer for me would be to grow faster. I think I was stuck in that mindset of just being a one-man operator for so long, and it took growth and expansion to push my business over that hump and the growing pains of growing. So I think if I could go back in time, I wouldn't be as fearful to grow faster, take on some employees, maybe spend some more money and see what happens.
But that's still nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. But again, as an entrepreneur, that's a risk that you have to take if you're going to grow.
If you want to grow, yeah. For me, it really came down to, it felt like the business was running me and I wasn't running the business anymore. And so I needed to grow. It hit that point where it was like, you need to scale or else you're going to get swallowed by your own business, which is a pretty bad feeling to have. So I would say earlier on, take on the risk of growing and everything that goes with it.
You had that corporate experience, which is valuable in itself, of course. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned from that you applied to your business?
I would say that organization is the key to an efficient business is one of them. And then second is you got to be willing to do the work that other people don't want to do in order to be successful. So that's where a lot of these coffee drop-ins, donut drop-offs, a lot of that originated.
Talk to us more about organization.
It's just making sure our systems are dialed in. We don't want to have any gray space within what we do. So every day should be like Groundhog's Day from start to finish. So that's how we run our business because we want to be efficient. And the way to be efficient is to be organized.
Can you tell us more about your estimation and quoting process?
Yeah, so we receive the lead. It's speed to lead with us. So we set up an on-time consultation with the client. We meet with them at that time. We show up, we walk through the process, see their vision. We'll show them their product samples. They'll step inside, we'll map out their yard. We'll use our technology and our software to do it very, very quickly. And then the goal is to get them a quote before we leave that bid site. So we want to be able to get all of our measurements, input it within our CRM, knock on that back door, have them come back out, review the proposal with them, with the ultimate goal of receiving a 50% deposit from them and getting them on our installation schedule.
What's it like running this business? How many hours a week are you investing?
I am a very work-life balance type of guy, so I don't believe that because you own a business, you've got to work these crazy hours to be able to call yourself a business owner. So even in the startup days, 8 to 5 was pretty standard. Same with now. There's a lot more going on now within the business, which is why I've got recruited some really good help, whether it's Bobby, Turf Pro, or Gage as our sales rep. Help is required once you grow your business. So making the right hire is key. So with their help, that 8 to 5 is still pretty standard. We're able to get a lot done within those hours as well.
So you're kind of on the side of like, you don't need to work 90 hours a week to be successful as a business owner.
I don't think so. I mean, it depends, I guess, what you're doing, but I believe that having that balance is very key to the health of your business as well as your personal life. And you got to keep it as balanced as you can.
Viewers, let us know your thoughts down below on that question. Sales is obviously super important. I mean, what do you teach others when it comes to sales?
To me, there's 3 things that will make you a successful salesperson. With turf specifically, this can be a high dollar ticket. So people want to work with people that they like and that they trust. So for me, that's the first thing. Be personable, be relational with your client, be somebody that they want to work with and somebody that they trust. So check that box, but that box alone isn't going to win you the job. So 2 is be knowledgeable. Be the most knowledgeable turf pro that they talk to. Make sure that they're fully aware of every detail of it, windows, turf, infill, base prep, everything across the board. So that's going to be the second box for me. And then 3rd is just be efficient. If you're going to follow up with them, communicate well. If you're going to be there at 8:30 to meet with them for the bid, be there at 8:30. That's the first checkbox for the client. If you say you'll have the bid to them by the end of the day, have it to them by the end of the day. So be relational, be knowledgeable, and then lastly, be efficient.
What have you found to be the secret to closing sales?
It's all about the follow-up. So we preach to our guys 7 follow-ups per client. Immediately after you send them a quote, give them a call, shoot them a text, send them an email, and then repeat that process for the next 4 or 5 days. So 7 touches per client. People are busy. They're gonna move on. They could see your quote and forget about it, but that other company that follows up with them, they're gonna continue to see it. So make yourself visible to the client. Make sure you hear their needs and you let them know that you know their needs. I think that carries a lot of weight. You can charge more for your product if your value is worth it. But you have to make sure the value you bring to the client is truly worth it. So listening, communicating, dreaming with them, and then of course following up.
And what is a typical sales cycle here? Is it like a 2-week process? Do some people close after a day? I mean, what's typical length here? I'm just out of curiosity.
Yeah, typical length is oftentimes within 24 hours. We've had lots of stories of actually closing on the job site, or I guess on the bid site when our sales rep is out meeting with the client. We prefer to do it that way if possible, where we'll quote their yard, we'll knock on their back door when we get all of our numbers, and we'll actually present the quote to them at that time, with the end goal being getting them on schedule for an installation, receiving that 50% deposit at that time, and then moving on to our next bid.
And everything in sales is urgency, move it quick.
Urgency and moving quick and treating people the right way, yeah.
We also talk about wins, but what are some of the biggest losses or mistakes you've made?
Oh man, there's a lot. I'd say the 2 that come to mind are, in our early days, we would have our subcontracted crews, but I would own all the equipment. So we've now changed that, because when they own the equipment, they care about it a lot more. They're not going to leave it out in the rain and just let it get destroyed. So that's one of the things that I spend a lot of money on, that now we don't operate that way. And then the second one that always comes to mind is, in the early days, I was also only running 1 crew at a time. During those days, that 1 crew I was running, they actually left me on a job site one time, only for me to go and finish the job on my own. So that was a big learning moment. You got to know how to install turf if you're in this business, because you never know. Your crew might leave you on a job site. And 2, don't be held hostage by 1 crew. We've now moved to a system where we run multiple crews, so the crew doesn't have the leverage.
I want to go back to that moment though. I mean, what were some of the emotions, the thoughts you're having? I mean, someone just left you and just kind of said, figure it out yourself.
I was freaking out. I was like, what is going on right now? This is horrible. High stress, anxiety, panic, because this business is so much about word of mouth. One bad review, one job can really kill your business. So all the stress you could imagine, I was feeling it.
And I also want to speak to listeners here. You said word of mouth is one of the most reliable ways to get business in this industry here. I mean, talked about some of the ways that you leverage word of mouth to get more business.
Yeah, word of mouth is huge. So especially in those early days when I didn't have a lot of money to spend on marketing, I wanted to focus on doing high quality installs, building solid relationships, because in our mind, 1 yard isn't just 1 yard. 1 yard has the spider web effect of potentially being 10 plus yards. So that, on top of some of the swag that we offer to clients and just the high quality service, word of mouth will really carry your business.
What has surprised you the most throughout your journey?
Man, I think in the beginning I was afraid to be vulnerable with what I was doing. And what surprised me because of that is the more I put myself out there, the more support I've received. So a lot of people wish they were you. They wish they were able to take the step out and be an entrepreneur. And so when they see someone taking that risk, they want to support it. So that, in addition, for me, our phrase, our motto, our vision, which is get your Saturdays back, is kind of what embodies Waterloo Turf. So we want to live every day on the Waterloo side like it's a Saturday, and our goal is to give as many Saturdays back as possible. So we don't want people out there doing lawn maintenance on a Saturday. What we really want is for our customers to spend more time with their families, have more time with their friends coming over, and really just truly get their Saturdays back.
And I love that motto there. Was that something that you started from day one, that you invested that, into branding, or when did you come up with that slogan? I love that slogan.
Yeah, it honestly, we were talking about this recently. It kind of just came about, but it's been built into our business for years now, and it's really been helpful.
You mentioned before that this company has a feeling of being God ordained. Can you tell us how your faith has influenced your business decisions?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think with Waterloo Turf, it's been successful, but that's not by my own doing. I think I just get to be the person that drives the vehicle for it. There's so many times as a business owner where I just say I got to pray it in, and it's out of my hands at this point. Just pray that God comes through. I believe that his hands have been on Waterloo Turf, even in terms, the story with Timmy and I meeting. We met through church. We were in a small group together, hosted by him and his wife. We didn't even talk business for 3 or 4 months. And ultimately, it led to the expansion of Waterloo Turf franchising at the perfect time when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with Waterloo Turf. Same with Bobby. Found him through our small group, close friend of ours now. But yeah, there's just so many things that have happened with Waterloo that's very clear and evident. God's hands are on it. And I'm just, thankful to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. We got franchisee number 1 right here. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into the turf business?
Yeah. So my name's Coulter Castleman. I'm up in Fort Worth, Texas. So I actually looked into many different options, whether it was starting my own business, acquisition, or franchising. And what I decided for myself was, coming from the corporate world, hey, I can run a system very, very well, but again, don't have that ownership component. And so I decided I wanted to follow a system, implement it well, but have that ownership arm. And so with Waterloo, low capital, low overhead, and remote opportunity, right? And so it allows me to be in the field, run the business how I see fit, but also not have a lot of the expenses that you might have with a business where you have to sign a commercial lease. I would say Waterloo Turf is definitely for the creative, ambitious individual who wants to wake up every day, go get a sale, and just change people's lives, right? We get to transform people's backyards and give them more time with their families and just create beautiful spaces. Somebody who wants just everything given to them and not have to lift a finger, it's probably not for them.
What's your response to people that say artificial turf is too expensive or not environmentally friendly?
Yeah, so on the too expensive side, it's actually proven that the ROI on installing synthetic turf for sod and the maintenance and the upkeep of it actually pays itself off typically within about 5 years. So 5 years after installing turf, you've already paid off what it would take to upkeep a natural sod lawn. In terms of the environmental aspect of synthetic grass, it's really about water conservation. So we're out here installing synthetic grass while our clients are having their water bills go down. So it really comes down to that.
Employees are the lifeblood of any company. How do you find and retain great employees?
So it varies. So obviously with our installation side, it is a lot of subcontracted labor. So again, when we go to retain crews, there are certain things we incorporate into our systems to do that, such as beer, lunch, water, 3 times a month, make them feel appreciated, make sure that the work attire you give them is high quality, so that when they're out in the field working, it's comfortable, it's protecting them, keeping the sun off them. On the more employee side of sales reps, turf pros, things of that nature, it really just comes down to, I want to treat them the right way. I want to be boys with them. I want to talk about things outside of turf, get to know what's going on in their life, build that relationship. And if they want to stay within the turf world, that's great. If not, that's fine too. But the most important thing to me is building a strong relationship that builds trust for them to go out and, do a really great job.
Are you happy? Does money buy happiness?
I don't believe that money buys happiness, but I do believe that building something really cool that you enjoy doing with people that you enjoy working with, that does bring happiness. So working with great people, building something really cool, for me, I'm really trying to build something that can be left as a legacy for my kids and then maybe their kids one day. That just shows them if you work hard, you put your time into it, you do things that maybe other people don't do or aren't willing to do, you can create something really cool. So to answer your question, I'm very happy. I've got a wife that I love, a 7-month-old daughter, great friends. And then on top of that, turf is just really fun.
Every business runs on systems. What are some of the most powerful systems you have in place for your franchisees?
I think the biggest one that we offer is the way we go about estimating. So we're not out there with tape measures, dragging it around the yard. We're using technology to be efficient. So the benefit of using this technology is that it's going to allow them to complete more estimates within one day because it's going to be saving them time. So instead of being on a bid site that could take you an hour and a half to measure, and then you got to go home and send out the proposal, you can do all that on site within 30 minutes. So that allows you just to be more efficient, to go out and win more jobs.
For someone that's tuning in today right now and they're like, okay, I want to start a turf business, what's the first system that they should have in place?
I think branding is extremely important. So our armadillo actually came about in a pretty funny way. I actually have a similar one tattooed on me because I lost a bet, which is how it ended up turning into our logo. Your brand is your first impression to your potential clients. So you want to come across in a way that's delivering high quality and something that people can gravitate towards. And for us, our hats have been really important because we wanted to make something that people wanted to wear. Because for us, if they want to wear it, that's free advertisement for us that we don't have to spend money on.
Can you give me any advice on like how to manage a crew effectively? Like what are some of the best practices that you know now that people can take away from that?
Yeah, so we actually have some operations built into our company on how to retain crews. One of them being we call the BLW system. So it's called beer, lunch, water. So it's a recurring event on our calendars 3 times a month. We'll supply our crew with beer, usually on the last Friday of the month. And then another day we'll supply them with lunch, and another day we'll supply them with water. So these are small things you can do just to show your crew you care about them, that they're not just labor to you. And so we do a few different things like this in order to retain crews and keep them around.
Can you give us one quick nightmare story of like managing a crew?
Besides when they left me on the job
Besides when
site?
they left you on the job site.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to just having a good relationship with your crew. So if you can keep that relationship clean, you're paying on time, you're supplying them with work 5 days a week, your relationship's going to be pretty good. I think a nightmare scenario that's come about and it's inevitable at some point is just the negotiation for more money and how do you handle that? And so again, that goes back to making sure we're leveraging ourselves internally by running multiple crews. So we're not handcuffed to one crew that when they ask for more money, we're stuck with a gun to our head asking, what do we do? So yeah, for us, run multiple crews so you don't get stuck in that situation.
Hey team, before you leave, just a quick reminder, if you're looking to start a business but don't know how, we have partnered with Brandon Vaughn to give you the exact blueprint he has used to scale 12 multi-million-dollar businesses. I'll leave a special link in the description that gives UpFlip viewers special access. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd recommend you to check out episode 190, where we interview Peter Stadelli, who is bringing $700,000 a month laying pavers. Check it out in the description below.